This Mercedes is one of the best cars that I've ever built, and it almost killed my channel. That's what this video is about. In 2021, I purchased a Mercedes SL 500 from my buddy Chase. It was very much a friend deal. I got it for $1,000, and it ran and drove and did everything it was supposed to do. These SL 500s are really reliable, actually. The engines in them, this 5-liter V8, Mercedes made forever. This was kind of like a send-off to their old design language. They started building these things in the late 80s and carried them into 2001, I think. So built them forever, and they run forever, and they make enough power, and they're fun, they handle pretty well. And so for me, it was a no-brainer at $1,000. I just had to figure out what I was going to do with it. Now, I've always been passionate about giving cars away. It's something I did before YouTube, and then we thought when we started the YouTube channel, like, this will be what we do. It turns out to be way harder than I ever thought giving a car away could be, but I thought this might be an opportunity to kind of get back into that and find a way to do it where it doesn't make me go broke and we're able to kind of replicate it. And so this time I decided that we would try a charity build, and the charity that came up was one for Lou Gehrig's disease. Around the time that I decided to build this car, my uncle was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease, and Team Gleason is a foundation that helped him out a ton. And I wanted to do something in honor of him because he loved the channel and loved watching the videos, and I wanted to give him kind of videos to watch that were for him, kind of a gift to him. And so that's what I decided that I would do with this car. And around the same time, I had hired one of my best friends, Eric, to come film. Eric's really good on a camera, and pretty good at editing too. And he was kind of getting into all that at the time. And so he started working with me, and the quality of the filmmaking just went way, way up. And I was like, this is it. This is going to be where we kind of turn everything around. Now, just a little bit of background, kind of on behind the scenes of Bill. 2021 was a really hard year for Bill. We were not making money, and I had kind of saved up some money through some sponsorships. You guys would have seen me doing a lot of sponsored content in 21. I was saving money to try to kind of save the channel, and the money I had saved, I was using to do this build and to pay Eric and kind of up our production quality, because that's something people had always said about my content. And then also, to have this build that was kind of going back to build roots. We're going back to lower the car, wide body the car, make it look super cool, and just make it work and go. I'm getting into mechanicking, and I love it, but I'm not very good at it, and I can make a car look cool. Like, I know how to do that. And so I thought, we'll just go back to the roots, and we'll go back to kind of charity type stuff, not necessarily giving the car away, but doing something for a charity, doing something that benefits other people rather than just building another cool car for me. And so it seemed like it was all going to work out well. And we did go through this build, and it was awesome. I mean, we started by inviting some of our friends from the built community to build the car with us. So we had James and Justin and Dan come down and help build. I think Patrick showed up to help as well for like a weekend. They stayed with me, and we've actually started a group text since then that has gone on since 21. Like, every day we're texting back and forth. So that's been pretty cool, because all those guys I met through this community. So it's really cool to have them there and have them helping us. We built this wide body kit from an E46 Pandem kit, and then the rear spoiler came off of a 180SX Rocket Bunny, I think, kit. So with this Mercedes, I wanted kind of the bolt-on, but not bolt-on fenders, but much wider than factory. Duckbill spoiler, which I just love because of these guys behind me. And then, some JDM looking wheels, some Japanese style wheels, nothing that looks too Euro. And just make it into something that's really cool to drive down the street, something anybody could get in and drive, and it just be good to go. So there's not much to the build story. I mean, it was, adjust the wide body where I needed to, build custom parts when needed. I built the custom front lip and stuff, and lots 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 of sanding. I mean, just unbelievable amounts of sanding. And at the end, when we went to paint it, I realized that I've gotten a little bit better at bodyworking. Not perfect, but it's much better. And the car turned out really, really good. Now, on top of that, everything fit. Like, we lowered the car almost 3 inches, I think, and it all fits well, and nothing rubbed, and that was awesome. Like, I really feel like I've got that kind of building wide body fenders thing dialed in, where the car actually drives good. and so we got this thing lowered and ready to go, and I did a livery on it, which was we had a lot of love-hate relationship with that on the channel. I was going through a livery phase. I'd just gone to SEMA 2021 and there were liveries everywhere, and I was just so stoked on liveries at the time. And so I did a livery on it, and the livery was purple and yellow. Was kind of purple and yellow themed because my Uncle Herb was a huge LSU fan, like unbelievable LSU fan. If you're not from the States, LSU is a college in Louisiana, and people that are in South Louisiana especially that are LSU fans like bleed purple and gold. It is like the most intense love for any sports team that I've ever experienced, and Uncle Herb had the more love than anyone I've ever met for this team, and so I wanted to build this car that kind of like showed, it kind of like represented him, you know, and his love for the LSU Tigers. And so we got it all vinyl wrapped, and I took it to Uncle Herb and showed him the car, and did the purple stripe while we were there with him. The first thing he asked when I got there was, "Where's the purple?" Because it was just yellow and silver, and so I had a purple stripe that I had already cut. We put on there, and it was awesome. It was really cool. Yeah, so he had gotten all of his friends there to see the car, and you know, and we hung out with them for a little while, and it was great. And the foundation team Gleason is there as well in Louisiana, and so we packed the car up after hanging out with Herb and the family for a little while, and went to Team Gleason's headquarters. On the way there, actually, I don't think I filmed this, but we hit a big bump. We were towing the car behind a motorhome, and we hit a big bump, and the car shifted on the trailer, and my trailer doesn't have fenders on it, and so the tires touched, and it blew a tire out on the way to Team Gleason, and we weren't even able to unload it at Team Gleason. It was just devastating. But they were really good sports about it, and so went and met those guys and got to see all of the technology and the work they're putting into making Lou Gehrig's disease more bearable is incredible. For you guys that maybe don't know, Lou Gehrig's disease is a disease that it slowly kind of shuts down your motor functions in your body. It's brutal. It's a horrible disease, and they've really made a lot of headway into making life more livable and helping people with Lou Gehrig's disease have more independence. So I brought the car back home and got it ready to sell, and this was kind of the point I've been building up to. When I started the build, I knew I had 6 months. For like a financial standpoint, I had saved up enough money to run the channel for 6 months and pay Eric and build the car and do everything I need to do. And I told Eric when we started, like, we've got 6 months to make this thing work, and if it doesn't work, then we're just done. Like, that's just how it's gonna have to be, which is a really horrible place to be. And anyway, so we finished our kind of 6 month build on this car and put it up for sale. And basically the deal was that we were going to auction on eBay and donate a large portion of the funds to Team Gleason. And I was going to keep some of it back so we could do it again, because I thought, if this works, like, this is great. This allows me to give cars away. It helps me, you know, I can help people who are in need, and I get to build these cool cars, and like, it's a win-win-win all the way around as far as I was concerned. And again, since the beginning of YouTube, I've been trying to figure out how to give stuff away and it not like kill the channel, because basically every time I give something away, it kills the channel. And so we put it up on eBay, and it started off really strong, and it got to, I don't know, like 10,000 in like 2 days, which was exciting but nerve-wracking. Because high-profile auctions, it's very easy to bid on eBay. And so high-profile auctions oftentimes get kind of hijacked. And I was just praying that wasn't going to happen. And the next day it hit like 11. And then there was this crazy run. Like, in one day it went 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, all the way up to like 20,500, which, to be fair, way too much for the car. Now, I had said that whoever buys the car, we could work out a deal where they can like write it off as a donation, and we'll work something out. And so I was kind of like, maybe they're maybe it's a business owner that wants a charitable donation and can use this and get a car and all that stuff. I don't know. And anyway, so the car went up for sale, or went all the way through the auction and finished the sale at $20,500. I was ecstatic. Team Gleason was ecstatic. And I really felt like I had finally found how to do this thing that I wanted to do from day one with the channel. And I went to contact the buyer and they didn't respond. And I started looking at their profile and there's no reviews, there's no purchases, there's nothing. So it was just a dummy profile that had bid the auction up. The second bidder was a real person. He had bid pretty consistently up to like 11,000. And then him and the fake bidder had gone back and forth. And so I contacted him. I said, hey, I just looked at the bids. The buyer did not pay. And it looks like they were fake. So what I would like to do is just go back. We'll go back to before this guy ever started bidding, and you can have the car at whatever that price was. I think it was like 9,800 when this new bidder started coming in, or 10 or something like that. Still incredible. Like, that was great. That was more than enough, and it was going to give Team Gleason a good, donation. And I had planned on keeping like 3,000 to build something else, basically, or start something else. It would kind of keep me and Eric going for another few months. And so anyway, he didn't respond. So when I couldn't get the second bidder to respond, I relisted the car just immediately, and ran it on another 7-day auction, and it got up to like 7,500 this time. And again, the high bidder would not respond after winning, would not respond to to my messages. And so I went to the second bidder, and I think we agreed on like 6,800 for the car or something. And at this point I was just exhausted. I just wanted this whole thing to be over, And so we made that agreement, and then the day that he was supposed to be sending a truck to get the car, he called me and told me he wasn't going to do 6,800 anymore. He would do 5, and I just was like, no. And that was that. And that was, honestly, that was kind of the nail in the coffin for me, for YouTube, for a while. We had the new baby. I was not making enough money. And I was so hopeful that this idea would work. And I really, it was kind of like the rug got pulled out from under us a couple of times. And maybe just sad. Maybe I was just sad. Because we had just been struggling to make content for a year, and this was just it. I just couldn't handle it. I guess I just couldn't handle it anymore. So I just kind of stopped for a little while. I had to figure out a way to make some money to support my family, and I felt, I don't know. I guess I felt kind of angry, like I didn't know why somebody would want to mess up the auction. Because then I didn't have any money to give Team Gleason. I didn't have any money to keep the channel going. I had to tell Eric, like, dude, we're done. Like, this, it was a great run. We made some great content, but we're done. And it worked out. Eric is full time doing body work and paint now, and he's doing awesome with it. So it worked out for him. I miss working with him, but we still see each other all the time. Yeah, that's kind of where I went, and it just the third kid just kind of changed. The most important thing was not the YouTube channel at that moment. You know what I mean? So on a less sad note, or maybe more fun note, in that time I also met two of my new really good friends, Wes and Will, who had this crazy idea to start an autocross event, which I'll make a video about soon. I know I've been saying that, but I need to do it. It's just a big project. And we just kind of started meeting with some buddies and running this autocross event, and it turned into something kind of big. And so I really spent some time into that and really kind of invested in that over the past few years, as well as honestly just working a normal job and just kind of trying to take care of the family. That's really what my past 2 years have been: being a dad and working the job and running this autocross event with my buddies. And I'm trying to make content, but I don't. YouTube has been generating the revenue that I need to like build custom cars. So that brings us to present day. If you didn't see it, a couple of months ago, I did this like marathon paint video. For some reason, I'm only motivated to paint cars when I have no time. And so I painted this Mercedes in like 2 days and took it to a show with AEG in Huntsville and then raced it that weekend. And it was actually really awesome. I mean, the car did great in Huntsville and then it did awesome on the racetrack. And so that was awesome. It looks awesome. But the whole point of doing that paint job was to make it more marketable. Like when I sell it, I feel like, liveries are cool, but daily driving a livery car is kind of like pretentious, maybe. I don't know. It's loud, and maybe I'm getting old. I don't know, but I'm just like driving it around. I was like, I really wish this was just one color. And so I picked the coolest color that I know, which is Fjord Green. I'm on a green kick right now, and Fjord Green is so sick. It's the color I would paint my 911 if I ordered one from the factory, which I won't because, oh my gosh, they're so expensive. But Fjord Green is the color. It's awesome. And the whole reason I painted that was so I could sell it. Now, that brings us to today. Built, from the beginning, has always operated on car sales. So you guys, when I sold the MR2, which I didn't really want to do, everybody was very confused. But the money that I build cars with is money that comes from selling cars. And that's been the case from day one. So when I started Built, I started with a Dodge Neon that I had bought for $600 off my buddy Andrew Spigner. Shout out to Spig. And I painted it with a roller, and I got it running right and drove it for a little while and then sold it for $1,500. I took the $1,500 I made from the Neon and I put it into the MR2. Now, for example, the fenders that I used on the MR2 was a knockoff Rocket Bunny fender set that I found in Poland for like $400. And it was because I couldn't afford the Rocket Bunnies, naturally. I couldn't even afford the ones that I wanted, which was the V2 kit from the 180SX. So I got the V1 kit because the V2 kit was too expensive because I didn't have any money. And I built that whole car, the Ferrari diffuser, all that, with the money that I made off of the Neon. Well, when I got done with it, I'd spent all my money, and I wasn't really making money on YouTube then. I was making like $300 or $400 a month, and ads, people were not giving me ad deals. And so I sold the MR2, despite my wife telling me not to, and all you guys telling me not to. And it really, that is what funded everything else. Everything that's happened from that, came from that $8,000 from the MR2. And then being able to give away the A4, we just gave that away outright. Lost a huge amount of money on it, but I was able to sell other cars to pay for stuff. And that was kind of just what I was going to do. I'll sell the cars, I'll build something else, I'll give that thing away, and just try to keep it, going. Again, my goal was always to give something away. Like, it didn't make sense to me to build this giant fleet of cars. Like, why not build cars for other people? And so so that's always been kind of the model, and that's what's that's always kept Built afloat. Now, if we're afloat on a life raft, then it's a life raft, but it's afloat nonetheless. And so in order for me to get this thing going again, I've come to a very stark realization that I've got to sell some stuff. I got to do what I did in the first place. And so this car is up for sale again. The Mercedes is back up for sale currently, actually. If you're watching this video, it is currently on eBay, and it'll be up for until Sunday, so like 6.5 days, I guess. I will be donating a portion of the sale to Team Gleason because I said I would, and I love that place, and they helped my uncle so much, and I just, like, it's bothered me so much that I promised to do this thing and didn't follow through with it. And so anyway, I'm not going to be advertising that in the sale because I just don't want what happened last time to happen again. So anyway, this will be going up for sale, and then I basically just start selling everything so that we can start producing content again. I've run into a lot of people locally that have been like, dude, where are the videos? Why are you not making videos? And I'm like, I just got to raise some money. So that's what we're doing. And you can bid on it. It's a great car. I've been racing it all year. Not all year. I raced it for 4 events, and just no problems. Now, it is an old Mercedes, so keep that in mind. But it was great. I mean, it was great, and drove it hard, man. And it just goes. It's such a good car. So it does hurt to sell, but I've got other cars I need to autocross like the MG. And so this one will go and that one will end up on the track this year. That's the plan. Now, until YouTube picks back up for me, I'm gonna have to keep doing odd jobs. So like last week, I was installing a mural at a high school, and this week I'm flying to Virginia to drive a car back for somebody. And it's just kind of random stuff like that. And it's taking up a ton of time. And that's just kind of, I think that's gonna have to be the life I'm living until views start coming back. Just know the money that is being made from this car, a good bit is going to go to Team Gleason, but there will be some that stays in built and goes into finishing builds and starting new builds and all of that good stuff. Just making content for you guys, because that's what I really want to do. Just trying to do it smart, man. I want to be able to keep doing this stuff and not have to keep stopping. It's so frustrating. I know it's frustrating for you guys. It's frustrating for me too. But it is what it is. Life's complicated sometimes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go check out the car on eBay if you're interested. Bid on it, and you can message me. You can email me directly, Caleb@BuiltOfficial, or you can message me through eBay, and I can answer any questions that I know the answers to about the car and all that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one.